Hello there. Welcome back to Dis-Cember. I'm Scotty, and you're not. That's right. It's time to enter the cage one last time. Here in Dis-Cember with the Sorcerer's Apprentice. This is a movie that came out in 2010. It was one of those movies I watched with my grandparents, my grandma mostly. Sorry. I never understood why this was so hated. Like, I never hear anything good about this movie, and I don't understand why. Like, I'm watching Nostalgia Critic's review of it, and his big complaint thus far, I'm halfway through, is that it's not yelling Nick Cage. And to me, Nick Cage doesn't have to be yelling Nick Cage in a movie for it to be good. Remember, back to the 90s. He wasn't always yelling Nick Cage back then. He had some stuff, I guess, but he doesn't always have to be yelling Nick Cage to be good. He wasn't yelling Nick Cage in the National Treasure movies, and those are good. Okay, he yells a little bit in an argument with Abigail, but here, no. And yes, as an adaptation of the Sorcerer's Apprentice cartoon, no, it's not. I also see this get lumped in the Disney live action remakes. No, it's. I know that Maleficent took liberties with the source material, but to say this movie is a remake of the no, the scene is in the movie, but I don't see it as a remake. Nicolas Cage does not have a big white beard. You know, Jay Baruchel's is not a mouse. Maybe a goose every once in a while. How many times he does that? But no. We got a pretty good cast besides Nicolas Cage and Jay Baruchel. We got Teresa Palmer, who was already in Bedtime Stories this year that I was talking about. And you have Alfred Molina, Monica Bellucci, Alice Krish, Kriege. Toby Cabell is in this. A very young Peyton List plays the young version of Becky. Omar Benson Miller from CIS. Yeah. CIS. CSI. I was in my head thinking CSI, but I was going to say CSI, but thinking NCIS, so it came out CIS. CSI. Yeah. It was a pretty good cast. And the plot, I could see how it could be a little bit confusing, but I think this fits in the realm of fantasy, like, say, Lord of the Rings, Seventh Son, The Hobbit, Harry Potter, that sort of thing. For nerds like me, I think it's something we can understand. Back in ancient times, Merlin, the sorcerer Merlin, had 3 apprentices to teach the way of Merlin and stop evil Morgana Le Fay. However, those were Balthazar, Nick Cage, Veronica, Monica Bellucci, and Horvath, played by Alfred Molina. One of them betrayed Merlin. Can you figure out just by the cast, those 3, which one is the bad guy? If you said Horvath, then ding, 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 you are correct. Have a cookie. Yes, he betrayed Merlin, and thus Merlin dies, and says that, but Veronica is able to take Morgana's spirit into her body, and they lock her up in this doll, little, like the Russian doll thing, to be locked up forever. I think eventually Horvath ends up in that too. Other bad ones are captured as well after Morgana, and then eventually Horvath. And Nicolas Cage is now to search the world for Merlin's successor, dubbed the Prime Merlinian. He goes throughout decades searching for him. Fast forward to the year 2000. Yeah. We meet Dave, who's a little kid. And honestly, if you changed a few things in the script, like Horvath got away, has been trying to find Balthazar and that the whole time. And like I've seen this like 3 times now. I've always felt that this whole thing with Dave as a kid is unnecessary. It only serves to release Horvath, and if you just write that Horvath got away and has also been living through time parallel to Balthazar, as Balthazar is capturing bad guys in the thing, I think it would work. And just Dave as an adult finds him. You know. Now we gotta introduce, I guess it would introduce characters then, because we get introduced to not only Dave, but little Becky, played by Peyton List when she's little, before Cobra Kai's, and hey, just say do. Yeah, that Peyton List, not the other one, who was already like 20 by this time. So Dave goes on a field trip and wants to write a note to this little girl. They're both kids, by the way. Friend or girlfriend. But the thing blows away and leads him to Nicolas Cage's store, where Nicolas Cage just thinks because it's a coincidence, he's the one, and he gives him the ring, and it works. It fits around his finger. But then Nicolas Cage leaves him alone to go get something from his basement. And that's when, trouble happens. He knocks over the Russian doll, which Nicolas Cage just keeps out in the open. Yep. Also, I do want to point out that he bumped into this thing Nicolas Cage says will trap people for 10 years. So that's going to come into play. But knocking over the doll releases Horvath, who's out for revenge. The store starts catching on fire when they're having a war back and forth, and they both end up inside that thing that I said will keep them for 10 years. Yep. And it looks like Dave peed himself, and now he's in Paris. Flash forward 10 years later to the year 2010. Dave is now an adult in college, and he's a science geek, because of course he's played by Jay Baruchel. I don't know where that came from, but yeah. He always kind of sounds like this all the time, It's kind of weird. And I do the touch the head thing, because he's, I don't know, if you do a little bit lower and kind of enunciate more, it's Bill Pullman. This will be our Independence Day. I guess. I don't know. I'm still working on that one. The yell from just pissing me off. So they're now, I don't know, in someone's house. The thing is, and they both break out. Horvath comes out first for no reason. Doesn't it suck Horvath up first? I don't know. He comes out first, and then Balthazar falls, but he throws it out the window. Balthazar's going to hang on to the ledge. Yeah. Horvath finds Dave first and tells Dave he wants the little doll thing. But Dave accidentally threw that into the sewer. Now, I can't remember how, but they eventually find it. Mute, damn you. Really? I was hoping that Doug's video would help. It went to his sponsored ad, and then it went to a regular ad. I'm gonna leave it playing, but eventually Horvath finds an apprentice in Toby Kebbell, who disguises himself as a amateur magician. Yeah. Meanwhile, Dave runs into Becky again, just out of the blue, as adults now in college, and says he'll help her. He helps fix the programming at their radio station, and he said, I can teach you about science. He has a Tesla coil. Who has that? And then he can play music with it. He can play that song, Tell Me What You Want From Me. Gonna let all my secrets away. That song. Because it's on the soundtrack. The One Republic song. Yeah. If he's in a cage, he can make it play in a cage. Yeah. But now Nicolas Cage, or Balthazar, wants to teach him the ways to use the magic, right? But I'm assuming they find the doll in the sewer. That's where it is. Teach him how to use the magic, but he's not the best. Am I blanking on what happened? Oh, Dave and Toby Kebbell fight in the bathroom. That happens. Balthazar saves him. Toby Kebbell is an idiot. But, yeah. So, he needs to teach Dave so they can stop Horvath from bringing Morgana back. That's the thing. Got it? Good. Anyway, the end. I'm sick of yawning. Oh no. There's also a scene where Jay Baruchel gets chased by a dragon. There's a call to that. This is the same year, wasn't it? That came out, or was it maybe the next year? They're making a live action one now. I heard people getting very pissed at it, but it looks pretty faithful. Although, I don't know why they can't just cast the characters right. I'm talking about Astrid and the fact that the twins are redheads. Why can't they just... They did such a good job with... What's his face? Toothless? No, the kid, the boy. But I mean, I don't know. And Jared Butler's coming back, so that's pretty cool. But yeah. Because we can't have all white casts anymore. Still, if the characters were white in the original, just come on. Come on. I don't know where to go anymore with this. I'm all messed up because of this review. I'm going to pause it. Not that. So eventually we get the scene where he decides to clean the place using the magic to, and we get the that scene. But now the plasma coils are in play, right? So Balthazar that makes a big deal about if you fall with wizard gets electrocuted in water, you lose your powers. And I'm like, so that comes back, right? No, it doesn't. Well, Horvath gets electrocuted, but he's not in water. I don't know. But, yeah. So Horvath releases an evil witch, sorcerer, killer person, Abigail something, kidnaps Becky. I'm rushing to the end here because I can't figure out. And so he basically holds her hostage and says, "Hey, give me your ring. I'll let her go." I feel like there was something else you're supposed to give to. And the Grimhold. Right, the Grimhold and the ring. Give it to me, I'll let her go. So of course she does it. And he leaves. I don't know what happens to Toby Kebbell. At some point he's just gone from this movie. I don't know why I'm blanking so much on this movie. I'm sitting right here watching it. But, yeah, Nicolas Cage shows back up. I know I keep calling him that. Balthazar shows back up. I would have done the same. Because by this point, he's already told Dave the truth about Veronica. They were in love. And, yeah. So then Dave tells her everything, and she just believes it because we don't have time for a conflict. So she just has to believe him. And he has to contact his roommate, Omar Benson Miller, to get some help. Because he says that with all that stuff on Horvath's wand, he becomes a conductor, which will conduct electricity because he's a schmuck guy. Yeah. There's also no conflict when she shows up and he's doing the mop thing and the mop almost goes up his ass, but he's like, "I think you should go." And she's like, "Oh, okay." And then the door shuts and he leaves, she leaves, and then there's no argument between them, I don't think. And I can remember. So Balthazar's gonna go off and fight Horvath on his own using the giant bird. And when Omar Benson Miller brings the stuff to him, there's a letter from Balthazar telling him to give the necklace to Veronica, which means he's going to sacrifice himself to save her. By the time they get there, Morgana is out of the little doll thing, and he uses the other witch, Abigail's power, to release her. And Gage is getting attacked by a bull when Dave comes to save the day by electrocuting Horvath, knocking him on his ass. Not in the water, though. Just on his ass. And then the movie jumps the shark for me. I don't get this. So, Cage sucks face, literally, with Morgana with Veronica to get Morgana out of her body into his. He's not strong enough to keep it in, so it flies out of him, and she's now free. She's not whole, but she's floating around, and she's more powerful than Dave, but now he has power without the ring. He doesn't have the ring, but he can do powers now, despite the whole movie saying he can't do it without the ring. All of a sudden now, he's got it. To Nicolas Cage saying, "It is him." I'm like, the whole movie he's not been able to do magic. Not been able to do magic without the ring, and all of a sudden, because the plot demands it, he can't. Not only that, he can not just stop the fire, he can shoot the plasmic bolts, he can do everything now out of nowhere. There was nowhere in this movie that he even hinted he could do magic without it. The last time he was with Nicolas Cage, he's like, look. Then this is the ring. He's like, look. No magic. Can't do it. No ring. Can't do it. And now all of a sudden he can. I don't know why. But, yeah. And then he fires some blasts at Morgana and it goes past her into the shed. And then he's like throwing a whole bunch and it's just going right through her. Then we see something slithering its way out to electrocute her and mess with her, and he's able to defeat her just by throwing a bunch of plasma bolts at her. And I'm like, and then Nicolas Cage is dead, so he puts a circle around him and shocks him back to life. This is where I went, okay, they haven't done the Sorcerer loses magic by getting electrocuted in the water thing. So she's going to come back and he's going to do that, right? No, Horvath's going to pop up. No, she's gone. And the only thing we get of Horvath is that Dave walks over to Rebecca, he finds the hat and is like, puts it on the thing and then hugs Becky. And I'm like, wait, was that the sequel tease? Really? Because it ends with the song Here. Tell me what you want from me. And she's like, oh, right, friend or girlfriend? And he's like, who cares? And he kisses her. And she's like, girlfriend. Definitely girlfriend. And then it ends. And I don't know. I couldn't find anything saying that they were planning a sequel. I don't know. But the one tease we get is that Horvath might still be out there. She is, but it's glossed over so quickly. He like finds that, he's like, puts it on. Really? That you gloss over it. That's a sequel tease, and you gloss over it, because he's not dead. He's just knocked out by the electrocution. There's no resolution to Horvath's plot in this, to Horvath's story in this. There's no resolution. He's electrocuted and then he's just gone. Because they wanted to set up a sequel, but there's no hinting at anything. There's no post-credit scene. There's no nothing. It's a little frustrating. Because I'm watching this and I'm starting to remember certain things. I remember thinking, so that's setting up for a sequel, right? It's a little quick. But there's nothing. Much like the sequel tease for League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. I don't know. I will say it's pretty good. I like this movie. I don't get the hate for it. Sure, it's not one of Nicolas Cage's crazy movies, but it works. And as a fantasy fan, I like it. I think it works. Well, what are your thoughts on The Sorcerer's Apprentice? Let me know in the comments if you like, share, and subscribe. Tomorrow, we're going to have a whale of a tale as we go all the way back for one last time in classic Disney. It's 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea with Kirk Douglas. Yes, this will actually be my first time watching through the whole movie. I've seen part of it. I watched it years ago when I rented it from the library. And I got past the song and they were on a stormy night. And then I didn't finish it because me and the girl, we were watching it. And then someone came over and we stopped watching. We never went back to it. Something like that. I don't remember. But, yeah. And we have 6 reviews left. And then I got to do Christmas. Try to figure out how to decorate that for Christmas. I have ideas. I have a couple of Christmas steelbooks that'll work. I have a couple. And I have Krampus. You'll see that in the whole video. You should have already seen it. I have that original classics one, Gremlins, the Christmas movie, right? I'll put my Die Hard DVD up there. It's Christmas. In fact, I'll put the Die Hard one up there. I'll put like 2 DVDs up there, the Christmas ones, like Die Hard and Long Kiss Goodnight. Anyway, Thank you for watching. I'm Sky, and I'll see you in the next one.